Welcome to another episode of Helping the Brave. I'm your host, Ed Parcaut, and today I'm joined by Lee Allen, Army veteran, entrepreneur, and author of a heartwarming Christmas stories. We'll dive into Lee's military journey, his path from infantry to business, and how it shaped his life, and the inspiration behind his best-selling books. Get ready for an episode filled with real talk, resilience, and a bit of holiday spirit. Hello, everybody. I'm Ed Parcaut, host of Helping the Brave. Let's bring in our guest today, Mr. Lee Allen. How you doing, Lee?
I'm good, Ed. How are you?
Good. Finally, now we've finally got this going.
I appreciate
we'll
all
just
that.
let everybody know you're traveling while we're doing this podcast.
Yes.
All right. So, there's one question I ask on Helping the Brave that I always ask:
Okay.
What service were you in, and why did you pick that service?
So, Army, and my dad was retired Army, so kind of naturally went that direction instead of Navy like yourself or Air Force. Yeah.
Now, so then did you move all over with your dad through all the different places?
Well, I was born in Germany, and he was in the Corps of Engineers at the time. When we came back, and obviously I was young, we came back, I was 2. He spent, I think, another 4 years or so, and then went to the reserves. So he ended up finishing, like full retirement kind of thing through the reserves.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. I was thinking he retired in the actual service. Not that there's anything wrong with reserves, but when I got out, everybody asked me, because I had my bachelor's, I was finishing up my master's, if I was going to become an officer or go into the reserves. And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be an officer in the Navy, because that means I'm going to be on a ship, and you're going to live at sea, and there's no way I want to do that. Or I want to be in the reserves, where then I saw what was going on. I saw that they were downsizing the military and increasing the reserves in case we went to war. And everybody kept saying,
Sure,
we're never going to go to war. Don't you have to worry about it? And then everybody I know that's in reserves actually did more time overseas
than active.
Yep.
Wow. And we're talking what, Iraq and Afghanistan kind of thing? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, because Vietnam, everybody was already, Vietnam, everybody was, I don't want to say in the Air Force, but a lot of people were in the Army. But then you had Air Force growing because they had just spun that off in the late 50s, and they had to fill it up. So, right.
Yeah. I can't remember when they actually started the Air Force.
59.
Really? So it was after World War II. It wasn't during World War II.
Yeah, it was in the late 50s, if I remember right. I could be wrong.
Really?
I can ask ChatGPT real quick.
Yeah. And you were Navy, right?
Yes, I was. Yes, I am. And my son's in the Army. He is a combat medic in the Army.
And I think you mentioned the 82nd, which I served in the 82nd. That's your son?
Originally, he was, because that was that's up in Alaska, right?
No. 82nd's down at Fort Bragg. They gave it back its name. 82nd Airborne, Fort Bragg. Yeah.
Well, that's you.
North Carolina.
Yeah, he was stationed in Alaska, his first duty station, and then went down to Washington State. Now is where he is now. And then after that, he's going to high desert. But he was in the cavalry for a while. And then they just closed that up, and so he's in some. I can't keep track of all the different things they're doing now with it.
And it's been so long since I got out, Ed, that everything's changed so much. But the 82nd is still at Fort Bragg.
They don't have besides 82nd at Fort Bragg. They don't break that up into other places. So I was wrong. I was right on the 7 or whatever. But it was 1947. So.
Yeah. Okay. It was right after World War II. Okay. So Fort Bragg also has 18th Airborne Corps. JFK Center was where we had the Delta Force back in my day. Now I think it's down at MacDill Air Force Base or somewhere in Florida. Right. So there were other units there, but the 82nd was self-contained. We didn't have like in Alaska.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, he got stuck up there right at the beginning of the pandemic. It was horrible for all of them up there. There were so many suicides. It was ridiculous.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, because, you got somebody who just came out of, airborne school, as a medic, going to their first duty station, wanting to, let's go do something, and they're stuck in their rooms.
Yeah,
And
no
then they
fun.
stuck them in a barracks that it was an old barracks and forgot about them for a few days just because of how bad it was up there.
I tell you what, during that pandemic, I was all over the country, never took a vaccination, period. The only time I would wear a mask is when I was in the airport, and I'd put on one of these cloth masks that are worthless.
Yeah,
it was just a big game. It was so stupid.
Yeah.
I'll tell you,
started.
But I tell you what I did, I think we all saw, is how quickly the average person will bend the knee to whatever out of fear. In my opinion.
Yes, but also we had a government who was forcing us to do stuff that was not the way it was supposed to be. The next administration did a lot more. So I was lucky. I was in Stanislaus County in California. Our sheriff did not enforce the stuff that every other sheriff's other places enforced in California.
To your point, when I would be in Florida, Ed, I'd go into a Publix, people in there, no mask. Down in Texas, I'd be in Midland where my son has a business, no mask, everybody going in and out of the store. But I'd go to Chicago and I'd watch somebody going down the street in their car, windows up with a mask on, or riding their bike. And they've got a mask. I think, oh my gosh.
Well, no, so
amazing the difference.
Yeah, but they had, where I was in California, they forced us. They were threatening and everything.
Wow.
Shutting down businesses and certain things.
Yeah.
And that whole thing just taught you that you got to be careful of whoever's in charge can really control certain things.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm not, we're on my wrong podcast for that. That's on my radio show. That's my political one that I get on, like real estate.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm on iHeart Power Talk 1360, which is
good radio station. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. So you were how long were you in the service?
So I'm in college. This is 1974.
Okay.
And girlfriend and I broke up, so I kind of got a wild hair. and I told my parents, I said, I'm just going to join the military. So I went and signed up for the 82nd, 4 years. They gave a nice little bonus, which, you know how that all works. Well, so I'm in 15 months. I'm now at my duty station at the 82nd Fort Bragg. My dad gave me the best advice I ever had when it came. He said, if they ask you if you can type, tell them yes, because they'll put you in the, whatever that room, where the company commander and the XO and all, orderly room, I think. Yeah, orderly room. And so I did that. And next thing you know, the captain would ask me, my company commander, who was a captain, would ask me, Alan, I'm trying to hook my wagon to a rising star. I want you to help me write a letter to such and such, such and such. So I ended up going back to school while everybody else is out in the field training it. I'm going back, finishing up my degree, or at least my associates. Got battalion trooper, company battalion trooper of the month, all that kind of thing. But so the Army had, I saw one day in the magazine, in the rag Army Times, that 50 enlisted men had an opportunity of selected to go back to college, everything paid for, on and on. I guess I was lucky. I was one of the 50 people. I was out in 15 months from when I went in, even though I signed up for 4 years, and finished up my college, did ROTC, went back in 101st, and then ended up down at back in Fort Bragg in the 82nd. And I was also at JFK Psychological Operation. I had some great jobs. I was up on the division staff. My alternate was comptroller. During Reagan, we had what was called force modernization. So I was the force modernization officer for the 82nd. In control, we went from a $20 million to a $35 million budget. Now, that was back then. So I had all these battalion commanders, brigade commanders coming to me and telling me, I could have, the different training missions. It was a great job anyway. So, but I was never even though I was in infantry, the only thing we did when I was in the 82nd, go to Grenada back then, if you remember that. Only one brigade, the 2nd Brigade. So great experience. But then I got out. So I think I had a total of like 6 years.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And so when you finalized and so you were officer when so you're kind of like a green to gold kind of thing is what they used to, I think they call it now. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I think they call it now when they enlisted to officer.
Yeah. So, just can't complain. I went into the business world. And as you know, I've now written a couple of Christmas books.
We'll get to that.
Back. Yeah.
I kind of want your background a little bit. I mean, because this is helping the brave, and so people can understand. Just when you join the military, it doesn't mean that you're just going to do this and get out. But we learn a lot while we're in. We do in life, and 50% of veterans are business owners on top of everything else, which a lot of people don't understand. But I actually spoke to 2 authors the other day. They're couple, and they actually are writing for Tom Clancy books now.
Okay.
And they have their own series, and I think they're dropping. They just dropped on, or this next week they're dropping. But and they connected at one of the events and that they go through for writing, and so there's a lot of people in the military who write. Because you got the time, right?
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And plus, people always want to know about the war stories and other stuff, right?
Yeah.
But you didn't do that. You did a totally different book. So you went into business. What did you do in the business world?
So I was big into real estate, and which I still do now. But also back in that day, there was what they call rent to own stores. So I had several of those because they were very profitable, to be honest, and some other business ventures like that. And most recently, I got into CBD, not the psychoactive, but the other, the more therapeutic. And so I started the first subscription box in the industry out of Las Vegas, and then went down to Florida, and now. But I've sold my partnership, sold my interest to my partners, and now I'm focused on my writing. And then I've got a real estate project I'm doing down in Florida. So anyway.
Well, what are you taking all those condos that need to be retrofitted, tearing them down and building new ones?
No, actually, it's in Melbourne, and autism has become, you probably see it in the news, a huge thing. So my partner has 4 autism, and I'm not into the business itself, but has 4 autism clinics. And this is going to be, we're doing a $22 million campus for autistic students at high school level to actually be residents during the school year. Parents don't know what to do with these kids a lot of times, right? They just don't, So there's a waiting list for people to sign up for that. So yeah. But I'm doing the development side, the funding, the real estate side, the building out the campus. Yeah,
I understand. I own a mortgage company. I've been.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've been in this field for 27 years. I wrote a book that's up back to behind me called "Financial Freedom: Building Personal Wealth Through Home Ownership." So, and it talks about how to get in a house, but from a different way. From my side, most people write real estate books. It's all about the real estate. It doesn't talk about you as the person, what you need to know to get in to buy your first house.
Interesting.
Or your first duplex or triplex. Because I'm real big on you, especially VA loan. Get in and buy a fourplex, live in one and rent out the other 3.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then do it again at your neck, because you could have multiple VA loans. It's the only loan that you don't have to put any money down. And if you have any disability at all, you don't pay the funding fee. And it's just, it's a great loan.
It's a great, yes. I didn't realize that, I know this is kind of a side, but I didn't realize that you didn't have to close out one VA loan to get another. Maybe they changed it or something like that.
The VA loan has changed drastically since I've been in the industry, because when I first was in the industry, it was like the worst loan to do. Nobody could do it, especially in California, because you couldn't buy anything. It was not enough for a VA. It was never enough for you to buy a decent home. Then so Blue Water changed 2 years ago, January, I think it was, or it was 3 years ago, January. It just seems a blur lately. And that changed to where Now it's just like a regular loan, but the difference is it goes off the conforming loan limit. But then you can do a jumbo. You can go up to 2.5 million on a VA loan now, but most lenders cap it at 1.5 million.
Still, not bad.
So what happens is you look at what you have. So you can have two loans at the same time, but you're maxed out at an eligibility. And so and that eligibility is maxed out at whatever the conforming loan limit. And we're right now, I think 813. So if you have a 400,000, say you have a $350,000 loan amount right now on your house you have right now, you could go buy the difference with no money down. Okay. So what's that? 500,000. Or if you buy a $600,000 house and you'd have to put a quarter of the difference down. So of the $100,000 difference, you have to put $25,000 down.
Okay. Interesting.
So so that's the difference. Is it just depends on what your eligibility is and where you're at. Because some places, like if I'm buying in the Bay Area, it's a conforming loan limit in that area, which is 1.2 million. So then I could buy that next house even higher. You follow me? So
yeah, I do.
No, most people had no idea that you can have two.
You sound multi-talented.
I do a lot, just like you do. All right. So when you were in real estate before, was developing what you did?
No, it was acquiring properties. Often I'd flip them. I had commercial, but mostly residential. Had some commercial. Yeah.
What period of time was this?
I was in Richmond, Virginia during the 80s and early 90s.
All right. So because I have real estate jerky in my radio show, we give you something to chew on. I had a shirt that said I was flipping before it became cool.
Yeah, I hear you.
Because that's what you were doing. You were flipping before
mostly.
Because it became like so popular from 2008 on.
Yeah. Okay. Now, see, I was before that, and I had some private placement offerings where I would combine multiple properties and get it financed that way. So
I'm just saying,
you sound like a multi-talented guy, huh?
So are you? I said you were doing all this way before anybody else was doing it. Is all I was getting at. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe, but but as you know, Ed, there are always real estate deals out there.
Yeah, even in the bad times.
Yeah. Let me tell you what. You could, back when the market collapsed 2008, I could go buy real estate. People were dying to give you their real estate.
I know.
So that was, most people didn't know that, but most people don't know that even though there's a due on sale clause, they never activate that, or, whatever the word is. And so I would pick up people's mortgages and, they would deed me the house, and the deal on sale never triggered.
Right.
So look how much cheaper that financing is versus everything you pay to get a new loan.
Yeah. Well, that's called a wrap, right?
I guess you could call it a wrap. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, because that's what was done a lot in the late 80s, early 90s, when a lot of the properties were just sitting there. Because I remember in 90, being in San Diego in 94-ish, during 93, 94, and people had properties, but nothing was selling, and you're able to do different things that you can't do today. So
yeah. I got to tell you, I have a hard stop at 5:30. I don't know what time it is, but
we're good. We'll finish it up in the next 12 minutes. Don't you worry.
Okay.
That was the plan. So
yeah. No,
I was just kind of wanted to finish up a couple of this. Then I wanted to get into the books. Yeah, because what people don't understand is just because you're a writer, most people who write books, it's because they love writing. It's not because they make a lot of money from it.
I was fortunate that I did get. Okay. I had a national bet, but you're right. Most people, it's for their own whatever.
So when did you write your first book?
Yeah, so it was 1992, and I wrote it for my two younger children at the time. And everybody loved the story, kind of the family gathered, and then I just put it on the shelf. Okay, so now we're 1994, and Rick Evans, who became Mr. Christmas and wrote this book called The Christmas Box. I saw him in People magazine, and he had tried to get it published. Publisher said, no, there's no market. He got a 250,000 book distribution. And by the time he hit People magazine, Simon & Schuster was paying him a $4.2 million advance.
Wow.
Now, I was very fortunate because hang on a second here. Okay, so I was fortunate because the timing was right, and publishers wanted the next Christmas box, right? So I had, six-figure advances. I didn't get a 4.2 million advance, and I had a movie deal, CBS Movie of the Week movie. And so it was kind of heady, you know what I mean, for your first little book.
Right. And so what was that? What was the book about?
So it's a Christmas story. And from a religious, kind of religious standpoint, it was about forgiveness. I was going through a divorce, and I wanted my children to come. And then, if any of your audience is familiar with this verse, I've always found in the Bible, in Hebrews, very curious, because it's like it's just dropped in there. And it's, don't forget to be kind to strangers, for some who have done so have entertained angels unawares. Well, think about that. To create a story, it's almost like a little spine tingler there. And so I built a story around that.
Okay. And what was the name of that book?
You can find it now. It's had different editions, but the latest is the 30th anniversary, The Special Guest, A Christmas Story.
Okay. And
I have a website too, if people want to go to that.
What's the website?
Yeah, so it's easy to remember, specialguestchristmas.com.
Okay. And then you said you had a CBS weekly movie at the time, because people probably don't remember about CBS weekly movies. But
I know, right? I know, back then. Yeah, because we're talking 96.
Right. Totally different world. We didn't have Netflix. We had Blockbuster, and you got fined when you didn't rewind your VHS. So
exactly. I know. You remember. So it was pretty cool. And now I'm working on a full feature film for that book. And then I have a sequel that comes out 30 years later this year. We revisit the Reed family, but it's now the grandson. And again, it's one of those kind of Christmas with some mystery and supernatural in a good way, miracles at the end, that kind of thing.
Kind of like a Miracle on 30 whatever street, and kind of like Wonderful Life.
That kind of thing. Yeah.
The old type of movies that actually are about Christmas.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And the good ones, because there's I have two favorite Christmas movies.
Okay.
It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
And Die Hard.
Oh, I know. Isn't that so funny that it comes under that Christmas with Bruce Willis, that Christmas category? It's like, it's just because it happens at Christmas. It's just funny. I know, right? But it's a good movie. He's a great movie. He was a great actor. Yeah, he was a great actor.
But he always said it wasn't a Christmas movie. I said, well, he doesn't remember now. A little too soon.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's okay. That's true too. But I know, right? It's one of those that falls in that category. It's just crazy, right? Anyway,
it's better. It's better than National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
That's funny though. You got to. I'll tell you, that Chevy boy. The last time I saw him, he did not look good, but it was so funny, and how he would go up underneath that traction trailer, remember? And then he comes out, shoots across the air, lands right. It was just, oh my God. It was well done. It's so, the characters, that's actually one of my favorite comedy kind of, but there are a lot of good Christmas movies.
All right. So let's back up. So now you have a full feature film from this book?
No, I'm working on that now. Okay. So there's a producer out in Hollywood that we're in conversation. And to your point of It's a Wonderful Life, I feel like we need a modern day It's a Wonderful Life. And so that's my goal.
Yeah, that I would agree. Just make sure it's, and please, no wokeness in it. Yeah.
Oh, heck no. Matter of fact, I really have.
I'm not saying that you're going to do it. I'm just saying, but that every movie now has to prove a point about something.
No. This will be faith-based. Yeah. This is faith-based. It's not Holly. Yeah. I'm not into that at all.
Is this so? Are you talking? And I don't know, Angel Studios at all, or?
You mean the name Angel Studios? I don't
Yeah.
know that I've talked with them. I'm talking with Brad Cravoy, who's a big shot out in Hollywood. Being the
They're more of
producer.
and I could be totally wrong, but I think they're more faith-based
Yes.
movie place. So
yeah, like Nashville, Tennessee, that area is kind of a center for it is for faith-based movies and
they're making a studio in Las Vegas. Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah. No, I like Mark, and he's really become religious. It seems to me in recent years, especially when I go back to remember that first movie with Burt Reynolds, where he was like a gigolo or something. Quite a change, right? I don't remember the name of it. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, but you got to remember, they all play a character. That's just a character.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But I think what the difference is, it's okay to say your faith now again. I think that's the difference.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I tell you what, Charlie Kirk being assassinated.
Oh, that's horrible.
My youngest daughter, who was in and out of the Trump White House the first time, she's now up on Capitol Hill, a comms director. She went and spoke as a guest speaker at Charlie's events all the time. That, I think, really has stirred people up.
Mm-hmm.
That you're talking about woke, and you start to get into the mental issues of these people that, you know what I'm saying, transgender. I can't even follow all the binary. I have no idea what they're talking about.
There's only two genders. I'm sorry if you don't like the fact that I said that. Yeah, I'm just saying, if you don't like the fact I said that, not you, but anybody listening, I'm not here to appease everybody. We all have our own beliefs, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You don't have
it can get over the edge, which we've seen.
The difference is when they take things, you only got a couple more minutes. When they take things and is a mental disorder and turn it into a regular thing and make everything like it's okay. And that's not the case. I appreciate anything else you want to add before we go today, because I know you got to.
Well, I have the sequel called Legend of the Wooden Star, but if they go to my website, and right now I've still got a special offering that they can take advantage of, but just go to specialguestchristmas.com, Ed, and they'll see both books.
Okay.
Hey, thank you for having me on today, honestly. And I actually enjoyed our conversation. We kind of covered a bunch, but that was good.
Well, that was good. I want people to know who you are, not just go read my books.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I don't want people to tell stories of their books. Otherwise, people won't read the book.
Well, if somebody wants some heartwarming Christmas, two books, check it out. Yeah,
will do. And again,
all right, my friend
Lee, thank you so much for being on the show today. I appreciate you being here. And again, go check out his book, the one that's coming out, Legend of the Wooden Star, and then the Christmas one.
Special guest. Thank you. The special guest. Yeah.
All right, stay right there, sir. All right, thank you for being here. We really appreciate you.
All right, thank you, Ed.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of Helping the Brave. I want to thank Lee Allen for sharing his journey from Army service to business and writing the heartwarming Christmas stories. Check out his book, Special Guest and the Legend of the Wooden Star, at specialguestchristmas.com. I'm Ed Parcaut, and thanks for joining us. And remember, stay brave and keep inspiring those around you.